Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kabadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, great millstone, and salutations to Akim, pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. My name is Kara Allah, and Low Wills has edifying. Now, what you're looking at is a scene from the movie A Bridge Too Far, which takes place in World War II, where you had the American and the British jumping out of parachutes, and other allies too, basically invading Netherlands, which was occupied by Germany and their Axis forces. And basically it was an invasion, boots on the ground, all right? And you had military casualties, but you also had civilian casualties. Now, my question is, can this happen in today's time in America, being that we're in World War III, and being that these nations are in a position of power? Can America be invaded similar to this? Now, with that being said, I'll get a few scriptures and no balloon just as edifying. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. Now, the word Babylon is not talking about the ancient Babylon, but it's actually talking about the modern day Babylon, or the spiritual Babylon, which would be America. When you go to the Strongs, you get Babal. It says confusion. All right, Babal, including Babylonia and the Babylonian Empire, Babylon. But it's not talking about the ancient empire, it's talking about America. See, America is a land of confusion. All right, mainly why? Because all the laws, statutes, commandments that's written in the Bible is discarded. Babal, all right, confusion. That's the main thing, because America is a land of confusion. Now let's go back to the scriptures. It says, I'll raise up against Babylon, code word for America, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me. Because America is totally against the Lord. America is against the Lord. Why? Because it's against the scriptures. And it's also against the men of the Lord. A destroying wind. A destroying wind is going into those nuclear missiles. All right. And when those missiles are dropped, they let off a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. And those fanners are these different nations, because in World War III, you're going to have these nations coming against America, you know, and because these nations basically, they smell blood, because now everyone has that nuclear technology. It says, for in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. Okay. Even their own allies, even members of NATO, members of the EU, what's going to happen? They're going to end up turning on America. And we'll get into this through the scriptures. Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine. Right? So it says, him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, which America gained its power from what? Bringing that, dropping those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay. So now that's really what humbled all these nations when they saw the power. But it says, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that, and now besides those hydrogen bombs, these bombs are now nuclear. And it says, and against him that findeth himself that, and against him that lifted himself up in his brigadine, or his military. Let's go to that word, brigadine. It says Saryan, right? Saryan. And it says, show Strong's info, a coat of mail brigadine. Now let's go to the root word. It says Shar Yawan. And we see here it says the original sense of turning. It says a corselet, as if twisted, breastplate, coat of mail, habergeon, harness. All right, so that's going into the armor, which is really talking about the military might. Continue on. So it says, against him that lifted himself up in his brigadine, and spare ye not her young men. And how's America lift up itself in its military might? All right, its weapons, its soldiers, technology, and the nuclear missiles technology. You know, in the scriptures, the missiles is known as an army of its own. It says, destroy ye utterly all her host, all his army. Jeremiah 51:4, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans. Also talking about America, because the Chaldeans were known for their witchcraft, which America is heavy into witchcraft. And they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of Yahweh, all right, Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. And Judah's going into the Israelites. Okay, although the Israelites sinned, we were put in captivity, but the Lord is not going to forsake us to the point where he's not going to come and deliver us. This captivity has an end. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Right? Because this place is nothing but sin. All right? Sin upon sin. That's iniquity. And how do you flee? First, you flee spiritually, not necessarily up and leave, because why? America is not the only place that's going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles. You know, because America is going to be shooting off missiles too. Okay, so you flee from the wickedness spiritually and mentally first. You stop doing certain things that America pushes, like shaving your head and getting these lineups and shaving your beards and lining up the corner of your beds and cornering your heads and whatnot, eating pork, shrimp, and lobster, calling it a delicacy. All those things are abominations. It says, he will render unto her a recompense. For it says, for this is the time of the Most High's, Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So it's going to be a payback for the way that the nation of Israel has been treated, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and for breaking all the laws written in the scriptures. Behold, it says, Jeremiah 51:7, it says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hands, or the Most High's hand, that made all the earth drunken through their philosophies. All right, their democracy, their influence made the earth drunken. All right, so the earth, because all these nations have their own heritage or their own beliefs, their own structure, but they'll leave that structure and they'll follow Esau's structure. And now they see that their structure is complete and utter confusion. All right, and now who else is drunken? The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, 2/3. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, her philosophies. Therefore, the nations are mad. And now we're in the state to where we see these nations are upset, man. You know, and who knows how these nations will retaliate. Yes, we know for sure they're gonna end up destroying this place by way of nuclear missiles. All right, but will these nations actually come in, parachute in here, whether by air or come in whether by sea, by ships? All right, and actually try to conquer land in America, like LA, you know, all these coastal cities. And now you have Mexico thinking about joining BRICS. Okay, so now if Mexico joined BRICS, will that mean that America will wage war on Mexico? And Mexico will be supported by Russia and China, India, South Africa, and other nations, leading to invasion. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, a golden cup, because the Lord gave America this power, you know, gave them this time to rule, like the Lord gave all these nations their time to rule, even the ancient Babylonian Empire, even the Romans, even the Greeks, the Medio Persians, right? And now America has their time to rule. Great Britain had their time to rule. All right. The Ottoman Turks had their time to rule. You know. And those are all Edomites. So Esau been ruling for a while. That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed, and that balm is talking about a healing agent. All right, like a lip balm. It says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So all these nations, basically, they're gonna leave Babylon, man. They ain't gonna do business with America like that. And we see that happening now because, wow, all these businesses are going to different countries where it's cheaper. It says he would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And we see this happening now through the debt ceiling, which can't be healed because America has so much debt. And it says forsake her. These nations are going to turn on America. They're going to see this destruction coming, and ultimately, when the war break out and things get hot, and they see those missiles, they're going to forsake this place because it's been weakened, and let us get everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, right? The judgment, the Lord is going to judge this place, and it's going to end. It's going to be judged by fire ultimately, and is lifted up even onto the skies, right? So that's going into all the history, all the dirt being digged up on this country, and the end result is going to be distinction. This is Obadiah 1 verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sewed up? Ultimately, the Lord is allowing America to be exposed. Esau is who? The so-called white man. All right, the wicked, the ones in rulership. Their forefather goes back to Esau, Edom. Starting with the elites today. All right, and so on down. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? Even the history, because America or the so-called white man does not like to let it be known that he is the true Edomites, according to the scriptures. All right, but these things are searched out mainly through the men of the Lord. Okay, through the men of the Lord, and also through history, because history is not going to be forsaken, man. History is not going to be done away with. So all the good along with the bad in history has to be brought out. And what do we see? We see that the so-called white man is a devil. We see he goes back to Esau, and we see that hatred for his brother Jacob, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, still exists today. And for example, we have slavery. We have the conquering of the northern kingdoms here in the so-called Americas. We have the ill treatments towards the Israelites. We have the lies, deceptions. You know. So yeah, this man is being sought out. He's being discovered. And these nations see it too. So I read again, Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sewed up? Through the Holy Spirit. That's how. Through the prophets and the hows and byways. That's how. All right. Scripture speak about your own tongue shall fall upon yourselves. You know, because it be your own people that dig into your history. Those history buffs and whatnot, and they bring out certain things that align with the scriptures. Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men of your confederacy. That's going to that word confederacy. Strong's H1285. Barayath. Show Strong's info. It says league. All right. It says I see covenant league. A compact because made by passing between pieces of flesh. Confederacy. All right, so covenant and league. Your covenant is a contract. Okay. So all these NATO, the North American Treaty Organization, that's a contract. It's a treaty. Right? The EU. All right. So it says the Slovakia. It says the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. I read it again, Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The border. Gabawal. All right. Show Strong's info. Boundary. It says extension, the territory enclosed, border, bound, the coast. All right. Okay, and why is that? Because you're gonna have to defend America. See, America's gonna be invaded ultimately, by those nuclear missiles, those nukes are going to destroy this place. Then you might have those are some electric attacks. All right, you might have some cyber attacks, right? But you might even have boots on the ground. All right, and it says that the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Right, your own men, your own allies, those allied states. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. Right, because even when Trump was president, what did he say? He said all these NATO countries and EU countries are spending way less than America. It says, so they ate your bread, and now they're going to turn on you. Should I not in that day say to the Lord or the Most High, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So there goes your understanding. There goes all your wisdom, because you're going to be in such straits, right? The Americans will be, the elites are going to be confused, right? Even the Americans, the military, because it's going to be all types of disasters and all fronts. Look at now, America's financially, militarily, in straits. The place is in straits. It says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end of every one of the mount of Esau. It says, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. All right. So that's starting with Amalek, the Amalekites. All right. Then it says Teman here, and on down, man. All the Edomites are gonna be destroyed. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So Esau's gonna be destroyed, man. He's gonna be cut off forever. He ain't gonna be an Edomite in the kingdom. I mean, you're gonna serve your captivity, but after that, you're gonna be destroyed. I'll say this too. You can check that movie out, A Bridge Too Far. I believe it was like 1977, something like this. But check it out. That movie was, it showed a lot of hell that went on in World War II, right? And scriptures say what? 2 woes is past, and behold, a third woe cometh quickly. So now we heading towards this World War III. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh, Shah, Bashim, Hakodash, and double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, great millstone, and salutations to the Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. Shalom.